going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, real quickly, I wanted to talk to you about my final thoughts regarding the 2019 ZX10R versus the 16 to 18 ZX10R. Obviously, this is the Bitch Ninja, and obviously this is the Baba Yaga. You've seen them both race multiple times on this channel. This one more so recently because it's a customer bike and that person's actually picking this bike up very soon. The bike is all done. Do I think the 2019 bike makes more power like previously claimed by other channels, other shops? Yes, but not by nearly as much as a lot of people are saying. Kawasaki, I think, is the only one in this case that's right. They said this bike, I want to say, was about maybe 3 or 4 or so more horsepower, which I agree with. This particular bike has Gen 4, so a 2011 to 2015 transmission in it, which is better for straight line racing, in my opinion. This 2019 bike has the original transmission, which from 16 and up has a different stacked transmission, and I don't like it. It's better for road racing, I've talked about that in the past, but it's not better for straight line racing. So I do think that this bike has the advantage when comparing it. However, when I raced Reloaded, which is the head cam, or the HTP head cam 2018 Gixxer 1000R, which is a max effort bike, the rider weights were within 10 pounds of each other both times out. This bike was able to pull away a lot nicer up top. Typically with this bike, the Gixxer would get out on me a little bit and then I'd kind of work back into the race, and then top end was dead nuts, nobody could move, and then the race was over. This particular bike was kind of hindered in the early gears by its gearbox, where it's a shift, 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 so there's no real time to build momentum and accelerate. And then once this bike got into 6th gear, it was basically game over and it would just start pulling away. To me, there is a horsepower advantage to the 2019 bike. If you have a 16 to 18 bike, do I recommend you sell it and get a 2019? Absolutely not. Now, if you blow one of these motors and come across a 2019 motor, that's a different story. I do recommend picking it up because it does have a much better valve train design. It's got the finger follower design, kind of like in the Gixxers. The 16 to 18 has the tappet style, which is a little inferior, a little more old school, and it's less efficient, so it robs more power than the actual valve train. The finger follower design will rev a lot better. So this bike will pretty much start falling out of the power before it actually brakes. Whereas this one, there's a good chance that the limit of where it makes power is also kind of where the valve train is going to fail. That's a distinct advantage to the 2019 bike. However, from what I've been told, the camshafts, the cylinder head port, everything else is the same. You can't, however, just put a head from a 19 onto a 16 to 18 motor. That's not a thing because of the way oil galleys travel. They're in different parts, so you basically have no oil going to the cylinder head if you try to put a 19 cylinder head on a 16 to 18 motor. So what I'll do now real quick is I'm just going to show you guys some races just to refresh your memory, even though there are more recent videos. I'll do a direct comparison of this bike racing the Gixxer versus this bike racing the Gixxer. Both the way they sit, minus the new look of the Bitch Ninja. And I think you'll kind of see what I'm talking about, how this bike seems to have more of an early gear advantage because of the transmission, but it does show that it does make a little less power than this bike based off how this one is struggling in the early gears to get any ground on the Gixxer because it's constantly shifting, versus when it finally gets into 6th gear and gets some time to build momentum, it pulls away fairly easily on the Gixxer, which is saying something because that's a fast bike. And the reason why I'm pointing over there is because that's where it is. So anyway, here's the footage now of those races. Alright, so after watching those races, what do you guys think? Me personally, I think this bike is faster. Right now, the way the bike sits, this is exactly how the owner, Hyro, is going to be picking the bike up, and I think he's going to be pretty excited about it personally. I know I would be. I'm a little jealous that I'm giving the bike back because I've kind of grown attached to it over the past month or so. Now, I know a lot of you guys might wonder why I get so technical when talking about these bikes, but if you've ever had a conversation with me in person, you'd understand that's just who I am. I kind of can't not get technical about things. So I could be like, yeah, the 2019's got a better motor, because some guy in the dial made 10 more horsepower, they made 20 more horsepower, it's way faster. No, that's not how I am. I want to look into detailed things, and I want to test it out in the real world, because that's where it counts. The dyno doesn't mean anything to me. That's also why I street tune bikes. I do eventually plan on getting a dyno, but that will just be to speed up the process. The final result is still going to be determined on the street for me. But anyway, guys, You let me know what you think about these two bikes. Which one do you think is faster? Me personally, the 19 I think is faster, but not by as much as a lot of the hype in the very beginning before the bike hit the streets. But for the most part, it is the faster bike, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.